Hello, dear students. Today we will look at how to download Autodesk Autocad. Please open this web page. This is called as Autodesk Education Community. After opening the website, register to website by using your school account. The Autodesk Education Community will give you 1-year license to download any of these following software. So you will download the Autocad by clicking here and assure that confirm your registration by following these things, and then the download page will be open. After you install your Autodesk Autocad, a user interface similar with this will be opened for you. So this user interface called as ribbon or toolbar, ribbon toolbar. It is good. You can see all the entire toolbars at here, but we advise you to use a classic view where only the required ones selected by you are visible at user interface. It will be much more better for you for starting. It is a little bit confusing for new starter beginner for beginners. So how you can do this? Initially, write close ribbons commands, ribbon close commands, excuse me, and then you will see that the page is closed, and then click to show menu bar. When you see this show menu bar, you will see file, edit, view, insert, format, tools, etc. And then by clicking tools, you will see toolbars at here, and then you will see these toolbars under the title of AutoCAD. So step by step, open dimension. It has opened at here, you see. And then again from say command bar, click draw. So something like that. So I will arrange my user interface where the draw command bar is presented at left, the dimension is presented at right. Again, continue to toolbar. Layers is important. Again, continue. Modify is another important toolbar. At here, let's continue. Toolbars, styles are important. Tools. We have open layers. Text is another important. View is another important toolbar. Zoom toolbar. I have placed that here. And what else we need? Properties is another important one. where we see the layer property at here. So we should open this toolbar also. So that's enough for now. And we can save this toolbar from at here, where click this icon, and you will see save current as, and give a name for this user interface. For example, Amazon Classic. And when you open the Autocad, you will see such a user interface. Let's close and open again. If your hard drive is SSD, it will be much more faster the opening time. How we are opening? Click here, new, or click here, file, and new. You will see such templates. Choose always ACAD ISO, not choose any other things. Choose always ACAD ISO for templates. And you will see such a black web page. Let's review our workspace, what we have. As you remember, these toolbars are drawing toolbars, modifying, properties, standards, layers, views, dimensioning that we will use, and zoom. These toolbars are enough for us for now. What else we see at here? There are also a couple of toolbars at here. We don't need to see this grid iron pattern, so click off. There is a important icon at here, opening and closing auto mode. The shortcut is F8, as you see. We will use it later. What else we need? And at here we have file, enabling, close and open the web page, save of the web page, and etc. Edit, view, insert, format. We will use formats later. Tools, draw, dimension, modify, parametric, window, and other toolbars. I would like to show you some web page settings which are important before starting. So bring your mouse to here and click right, and you will see snap settings. Open the snap settings. You will see such a setting environment. At here, come to the object snap and open all of these settings by clicking them, and select also all of these things. And you don't need to change properties at here, and click OK. And then I will ask you to make a couple of more settings. I will show you. Either click at here snap settings and click options at here, or directly write as op and options will be open. When you open, we will make change at 3 pages. Display is related with this workspace environment. At here, you will see the colors icon. When you open, it enables you to change the workspace. For example, I have set the workplace environment as black. Black is better than other colors, which is not tiring your eye. Do not use white or other colors. Black is good. And then crosshair size is the cross that is visible at workspace. For example, let's increase the crosshair size and click to apply, and you see that our cross dimension has enlarged. Let's come back. If you decrease the crosshair size, it will be much more smaller. Make your own personalized settings. And what else? What else do we need? At drafting, pay attention to these settings and selection. Selection, this is the pickup size. Do not use too big or too small. Make somewhere here. And for drafting, again, make your settings at somewhere here and click apply. So what else we have? We have a pan tool. The shortcut is clicking the roller of the mouse, press the roller, and the pan tool will be open. If you move your roller to front and back, the zoom in and zoom out command will be activated. These two commands are enough for you for the starting. Now we can start to use the toolbars at here. Let's start with using the line commands. The line command is this one. The shortcut is L. How we start? When we click the line toolbar at here, as you read at the right below of the cross, it asks you to specify first point. When you click any of the area at your workspace, you will see that it automatically gives you some dimensions specifying the length of your line and angle. If you click this ortho mode icon at here, you will see that your line move only at axis, either X axis or Y axis, you see. Let's close to the zoom into the line, and you see that our dimension getting smaller from 1000 to 24 or 35 units. The units are millimeter at here. We will continue with these dimensions for a while, and then later we will change. Let's draw 10 millimeter length at X axis. You see, we have created a line having 10 millimeter length. In order to cancel the commands and finish the activity, either press escape button at your clavier, or right click and cancel. Any of the method is available. So the length of this line is 10 millimeter. Let's draw another line. Click the line command. When you come to any of the edge of the line, existing line, you will see that the end point, the starting point, and the middle point is automatically snapped, marked this is easiness for you, for making easy to use of the toolbar. You see, for example, we can make parallel the second line by clicking in parallel with the existing line. Before clicking, I am just moving in parallel with the existing line, and you see it automatically gives me the 10 millimeter length. Either make left click by your mouse or press enter. No. When we press enter, it cancels the command. Make left click and then press enter. So we draw the second line parallel with the first line. Let's create another line. Before clicking any of the commands, bring your mouse cursor to the beginning of the second line. You see it tries to track. It tries to track the existing line. If we give any dimension at this point, pay attention. For example, let me input as 5. It will start a point where the distance of this point from my reference line is, you see, 5 millimeters. And let's draw another line having 10 millimeter length. So this is my third line. Let's measure the distance between the lines and the length of the line. We have these dimension toolbars at here. Let's use this linear dimension line. So the dimension is 10 millimeter. And the dimension at here is 5 millimeter, as you see. I would like to delete the dimension. How we will do that? Select the dimension line created at here and press delete. Or again, select the dimension line, and you can use erase commands when you right click. It will again delete. If you make multiple selection, we have two commands. The first one is creating a selection area from left upper side to right down side. You see the lines created and within the limit of the selection area are selected at here. You can do the same thing from right below to left above. You see the same command, and again click delete button, and it will be all the lines created will be erased. Let's create a couple of lines having certain distance. Let's start from here and create 20 millimeter length, and let's continue to line drawing having 20 centimeter length, again 20 centimeter length, and we have created a square having 20 millimeter length. We have created a square. Let's make zoom out and zoom in by using your rotator at here. And use Pan tool by pressing the wheel at your mouse. You see, at right side, let's create another rectangle, different than square. Let us make the rectangle from certain distance from the square, having 10 millimeter length. Let's have 40 millimeter length, 20 millimeter width, and 40 millimeter length and 20 millimeter width. We have created a rectangle. So these are our two objects. Let's create a line having again certain distance. Let's say 10 millimeter, and the length is 30 millimeter. Let's use other toolbars at here. We have, for example, copy commands at here. Initially, select your object or line for copying process, and then activate the copy. It asks you a base point, means that select a base point so that according to that base point, the copying process we will start. For example, let's choose this location. You see, wherever we move, it will copy at this direction according to your movement of your mouse cursor. The copying process will be executed. Let's give 5 millimeter distance. You see, from starting point, it copied our line to 5 millimeter distance. As you see, the command is still active, the copying command, so we can continue. For example, let's say 10 millimeter, and then continue as 15 millimeter and 20 millimeter. You see, our lines are copied. What else we have? We have these mirror commands. How it works? Again, initially we must select lines that will be mirrored. Then activate the mirror commands. It will ask you a baseline so that symmetrical, according to this baseline, a symmetric view of this baseline, a mirror view, will be created. For example, I am selecting this guideline. If I choose this direction, you see the created mirrors are at above this guideline. If I create at this direction, at Y direction, you see the copied lines are created at X direction. Make second click, and it will ask you either erase the source object, yes or no. If you yes, then the source object, as you see, are erased. If we activate the tool again, and if we say no, the base objects are remained at here, and the mirror process creates the copy of the mirrored objects at here. The dimensions are same. However, according to this location, the mirrored objects are created. What does it mean? I will explain later. For example, let's create an inclined line. We have created horizontal line or vertical lines. Let's create inclined lines, which means that having certain dimensions, certain angles. Let's create a line having certain distance from here. Let's give 40 millimeter dimensions. In order to assure the angle, initially create lines at orthogonal axis, which means that your created lines must be either at horizontal or vertical axis, and then rotate your lines according to certain angles. For example, initially select your line according to, and then select this rotating command at here. Choose as base point this location. You can close the ortho mode in order to better see. You see, if we give any angle, the line will be rotated according to this angle. For example, let's input as 15. 15 means radius angle. And according to the right to left direction, a 15-degree angle is created at here. Let's measure it again. Let me create a baseline and then measure the angle, angular dimension, measure the angles between two intersecting lines. You see. For example, let me show you another toolbar by using this inclined line. Other toolbar is this one, offset toolbar. Offset creates regular arrays having certain distance. The distance are provided by us. For example, let's input as 5 and press enter. When we select the object and according to our position, it will create the copy of the line, any line having certain distance. I have inputted as 5 millimeter, and therefore my offset line have 5 millimeter distance. Let's measure by using this aligned line command. You see the distance between these lines are 5 millimeter. If you use these offset commands at area, such as this square or rectangle, it will create smaller or bigger offset having regular distance from all sides, offset of the same object. Okay. So these are our first exercises, you see. Let's continue our drawing process. What else we will see? We have created until now a square, a rectangle, an horizontal line, and then we have copied the existing line by using copy commands, and then we created an inclined line having 15-degree angle, and then we use the offset commands to create an array. We call this line multiple lines as stated as here as line array. For example, I would like to show you another important command. Let us draw a line at here having vertical angles, and then deactivate the commands. As you see, our vertical line is intersecting with these inclined lines. I would like to show you these two commands. The first one is trim. Activate the trim commands. There are a couple of implementation methods for these commands. After activation of the commands, and when you at this any workspace, make right click and then bring to, you see the line upon this line. As you see, due to having this vertical line, it cuts the extension where the extended lines from this intersection are cut, and make left click upon this line. You see. Again, if you continue, it will cut all the extended line from the intersecting points. Okay. The second method to implement this command, for example, assume that we will cut all this line extending from this vertical line. There is a shortcut for that. Again, activate the line without clicking any of the line. Select by making left click the vertical line, and then at any of the void area, make right click. You see, it will only cut the extended line from here. In order to better understand this issue, I would like to show you another example. For example, again, activate the trim command. I am applying now the first method, and at any void area, make right click. If you select these parts, you see only the lines between these vertical lines are cut when we first apply. However, assume that I will cut all the lines extending from the first line. If I use the second method, for example, select the first line, and at void area, make right click. You see, when I apply the trim commands, the lines extending from this first vertical line are all cut. Or for example, let's make another exercise for you for better understand. Let's create a third vertical line and assume that I will get rid of the lines between these two vertical lines. Select these two vertical lines and make right click at void area and apply these commands at these inclined lines. You see, the lines between these two vertical lines are get rid of. For example, let's see the second line. The second one is the reverse of this command, the extend command. Select the extend command, make right click, for example. If we bring these commands upon the intersecting lines, it will extend the line until a second intersecting line. In order to activate this command, there must be a second intersecting point. For example, we can't use this command, for example, when we have such a line. For example, I can't use this line for that. Why? Because there is no any intersecting line. But if I have provided such a line, and then I can use these commands. Let's continue. The first method is activating the commands and make right click any of this area. And then you see the lines are extended. Similar with the trim commands, the second method at trim commands, we can specify the target extension, target point for the extension. For example, let's reactivate the commands and select the second vertical line, where when we activate the commands, the lines will be directly extended through the selected lines at the beginning of the commands, you see. This is the second approach. These two commands, trim and extend, are very helpful for you for drawing processes. What else we have? For example, another command is, move commands. These are simple commands. Let's how we are using. Initially select the object or line that will be moved, and then activate the move command. Select a point for reference, for example, and then either input a dimension for move or randomly point to a location. The third method, again, selecting from here and putting the object through the here, for example, from reference point to reference point. We are moving the object. So what we have made, we have moved the rectangle at here by using a reference point to another reference point as illustrated at here. We have covered the trim and extend line commands. We have used the copy commands, mirror commands, offset commands. And lastly, we will make some exercises for you. Let's create a rectangle at here, having 50 millimeter by 100 millimeter. We have created a rectangle having 50 millimeter by 100 millimeter, and then fulfill inside this rectangle line with vertical lines. For that purposes, let's create a vertical line at here, and then we can copy this line by using either copy commands or offset commands. Let's use copy commands. Initially, select the line and then activate the copy by using any reference points. Copy line by having 5 millimeter distance. You see. And then by using this reference line, we can copy the vertical lines by having 5 millimeter distance. Another method is using offset command. Offset command is much more better to be used. Input as 5 millimeter and then select the created line and offset the existing lines as illustrated at here. So at here, we have created a line array, a vertical line array, where we have fulfilled the inside of the rectangle. Now, let's copy this rectangle from existing rectangle to 150 millimeter distance and fulfill inside this rectangle with horizontal line. Again, having 5 millimeter distance. This time I have used offset line command and fulfill inside this rectangle with horizontal line. Let's copy again this rectangle to 150 millimeter distance to the right side and fulfill inside this rectangle with inclined lines. Initially, let's create a line having 100 millimeter length we have created the line at here and inclined this line by giving 45-degree angle, and then we will create a line array having 5 mm distance will fill inside this rectangle, and then by using trim commands, select the rectangle and get rid of the lines extending from the rectangle, you see. And we have a void area. At here, we will use extend line commands, and you see we have fulfilled inside the rectangle. Let's copy again this rectangle. This time, let's create another inclined lines. For that purposes, we will rotate minus 45-degree, so that the inclination line actually from right to left will be 135-degree. Let's fulfill inside the rectangle. And then get rid of the extended line by using trim command. We have, as you see, a blank area here. Use the extend command, select the rectangle, and extend the line in order to intersect with the rectangle. So we have created these 4 rectangle and fulfill inside this rectangle with, at first example, with vertical lines, horizontal lines at second example, 45-degree inclined lines at third example, and 135-degree angle at fourth example. What else we can see? We may see how to rotate the objects. Let's copy the rectangle through here and see how let's see how the rotate command is working. Activate the rotate and select a base point for rotation. Initially, close the auto mode. So you see, according to our angle, the object will be rotated from the base point. Let's input as 20, and the object is rotated through 20-degree angle, you see. Another method for objects, let me show you, which will be helpful for you. Let's copy this object again, and let's create an inclined surface having random angle. Assume that we will both rotate this object and align to the surface of this line. Which command we will use? Initially select your object and enter as AL, the shortcut of align commands. It will please proceed as this way. Select your first point, first base point, and a destination point. And then select your second base point and destination point. And then press enter. and activate as no, it will both rotate and align through the surface. This is the much more helpful for you for your drawing practices. Another command is this scale command. Scale command enlarge or decrease your object by applying a certain ratio. Similarly, initially select your object and then activate the scale commands. From a base point, either center or any of the edges, you can, according to these ratios specified at right dynamic input, the object is enlarged or decreased. You see. What else we have, and how to create a circle. For circle, it will ask you a center point, you see, and whatever you have input as a dimension, this will be the small radius dimension. For example, if we input as 50 millimeter, then the small radius will be 50, while the big radius will be 100 millimeter, you see. And we have also another line type presented here, a polyline. What is the difference between the line and polyline? If you notice, I have used polyline for creating object, while I have always used line command for creating lines. So what is the difference? When I create, for example, these two intersecting a chain line by using line commands, and let's make the same process by using polyline. When I click the first example, you see there are two separate lines. However, when I click the second example, you see the lines are connected, or the lines are unique, actually. It's helped you for moving, rotating, and making any process by when we use the polyline commands. The entire object behave as single object, consists of multiple lines, but these all lines are connected with each other. For example, when I create a rectangle by using line commands, you see I cannot select all the object by using just single line. However, when I draw the same object by using polyline commands, and when I click any of the sides, entire object is selected. So in general, when we want to create an object, we use the polyline commands rather than a line commands. The other important thing is creating polygon. For polygon, initially it asks you the side number of the sides. For example, if you select 6 means hexagon, it will ask you center of the polygon, and it will ask you inscribe in circle or circumscribe about circle, which means if you use these commands, you see your hexagon will be inside of a circle. However, if you use the second command, let's select this here and select the second option, you see the circle will be inside your hexagon this time. Another important command for you, let me show you, hatching command, presented here, hatching. When you click the hatching, a user interface similar with this one will be opened. You can open this dialog box also if you need. The patterns are selected from here. You will see such patterns. These are material specific patterns. For example, select the line command, and we have two options for selecting the area. If your object created from Polygon and it's a closed object, you can select this one. For example, at here, you see this is single object. Therefore, our command is work. When you click the preview, it will show you the preview of the object and press enter for comeback. You can increase the scale. You can change the angle. And if you click OK, then the hatch will be created. For example, if we create an object similar with this one, we cannot use this command, you see. Instead of this command, we must use add Pickpoint Commands at here. Click the inside of the area and press enter. The dialog box will come again. Set your angle and scale and press OK for activate the hatch. For example, after finish of the hatching command, you can edit the hatching. Select the hatch and make right click and open the hatch edit option at here. You can change any of the settings, the angle, and etc. at here. These are another important information for you. And furthermore, we have these two commands at here that will be important for you. At here, for example, if we have such two lines which have potential to be intersecting, but not intersecting now, this command enables intersection of these two commands. Or you can create a round corner by using pilot commands. Initially, in order to activate these commands, when you open by clicking the commands, write as R in order to specify the radius and give a radius information. For example, let's give 10 millimeter and select the corner. You see, it will create 10 millimeter radius at here. Let's increase the radius dimension. You see, the corner will become a round corner. The sharp corner will transform into round corner. How to create text? Let's see. Either use this one or this one, the same one. Select the text commands. Create an area. Select the text type as always Arial narrow. Input as text height. These are again millimeter. For example, for making visible, assign as 25. Write your text. Always use capital letters. And press OK for creating your text. For A3 paper size, let's create a title block. Remember the title block dimensions. Our A3 sheets having 197 millimeter by 420 millimeter dimension. This is our A3 paper size. Remember, we have creating a dialog box at here having 20 millimeter length. Excuse me, initially we must create 5 millimeter frame, and then we will create 20 millimeter, voids for texting, and we will create for area for text writing. Let's create our texts. 5 millimeter is enough. Antalya University of Architecture. And then set the center and present some voids from starting. Let's copy from here to here. At second parts, we indicate the name of the course. Move the line according to the texts. At here, the name of the student. And then move a little bit more. And indicate the name of the assignment. Date of the submission. So this is our A3 title block, A3 size. Let's check. The dimension. You see. So please make lots of exercises to learn the toolbars presented at here for better understand. For next session, we will make practice about actually with the object composition. That's all for today.